So I'm getting ready to put the air conditioner lines on, and you have to put a O-ring. This is the number 6 line. It goes on the bottom. Both of the service ports happen to be right at the firewall. I don't know if that's a requirement of air conditioning or what, but it seems to me if they were able to be put somewhere else, it'd be easier to access. So I'm lubricating the O-ring with the mineral oil they provided. Get it on there. Another drop of mineral oil around that. Cap my tube and go attach it to the port coming out of the firewall. Every tube in this was capped, by the way, and that's the side I'm not using now, so I'm keeping them capped until I actually am going to use them, so that nothing gets in them. Okay. I've got this all lubed and ready to go, and I gotta take that off. And I can't do it with one hand. These caps appear to screw on, but the thing they screw onto spins as well. So you can't just do it with one hand. Okay. Get the They want you to spin the side that has the O-ring in it. Can't get the other one still. Make sure I don't cross thread these. That would not be good. It's an 11/16 wrench I'm holding with, and the one I'm going to tighten with is 3/4. So now that I've got that started, I'm going to stow this up here. Trying to hold the service port up at an angle so it's easier to get to, and hold the wrench that's holding the backup nut. With one hand and tighten the other nut with the 3/4 inch wrench. that service port is sideways. Keeps wanting to turn it. I'm not strong enough to hold it with just my finger. Hopefully that's good enough to make a good seal. I mean, the O-ring's what makes the seal. So you don't have to worry about that. Just got to be tight enough to seal the O-ring. They give you a torque spec, but since there's no torque wrench made that fits like that, I don't know how you would do it. So it's just that, guess how tight it is. The torque spec that they give you, that line is 11 to 13 foot-pound. So it's not very much. So I'm going to go prepare the other line that goes in there, the number 10 line, and attach that. Okay, I'm ready to put the number 10 line on. Strangely enough, when I took the cap off of it, there was already an O-ring on there. So I just lubricated it. Hope that doesn't mean that somebody else had this and played with it and sent it back, but it did have a cap on it, so I think it's okay. These nuts are different sizes than the other one, obviously, since it's a 10 versus a 6. But it seems like a 7/8 or a 22 millimeter will hold the piece that you're trying to hold. And I don't have one, so I'm using a crescent wrench. But it seemed like what you needed for the female nut was a 1 1/16. I want you to stay up there. Can do it a little more with my fingers, that'll be a lot quicker. This one's supposed to be tightened to about 27 foot-pounds, so it's a lot tighter. Wish I had a 1 1/16 wrench. That would be easier to deal with than this. They told me to put this number 10 on first. And I thought, geez, the 6 is on the bottom. That's going to be harder to deal with. But I think wrench-wise, I would have had a better situation if I'd listened to them. Maybe sometimes it's good to follow directions. And my fancy hose clamps aren't exactly helping with the clearance issue here either. But I think it's okay. I hope those service things will be accessible. They should be. There's certainly enough room to go down here and come in the other way with my hose if I have to. So that looks like the hoses, as far as I can go, are installed for now. For me to go any further, I would have to put the evaporator or the condenser coil on, and I don't think I want to do that just yet. I guess the reason I don't want to do that is it's going to add weight to the nose of the car whenever I lift the body off, which is going to be very shortly because I'm running out of stuff that I can do under the hood. All I see for now is the ground wires from the alarm system, and I can hook those up, but that's about it for now. With that, adding the condenser, which adds weight, as I said, to the nose of the car for lifting the body. And I don't think that having the engine in and the body on is going to really make any difference at all in my accessibility to those areas to put that in, and might actually even be a bit of an advantage to have it on the frame because of support issues for the nose of the car. It'll already be supported somewhat by the time I put the extra weight of the condenser coil and the dryer on. I looked at the instructions again, and I have to wrap the number 10 fitting at the firewall with press tape. So lost my scissors. I need to cut the press tape. Actually, it tears a little bit. This is kind of sticky stuff. Tried to put this on with the paper on it so that it wouldn't be so messy. Now I've got to get the paper off of it. You still have to get personal with it. It's not working very well with gloves. So get rid of them. Okay, one strip of it got me up to the service fitting. I'm sure I need to leave the service fitting open. But I'm trying to press this on the bottom here, and there's not enough room to get your fingers in to press it up against the thing on the firewall. The tube that goes into the firewall, I should say. Press tape sounds like a good idea, like you press it on and it sticks, but it also sticks to you and it wants to come off of what you're trying to stick it to. Think I got it on underneath. My fingers aren't all that big. If you have much bigger fingers than I do, you would have a real tough time getting in there. Basically, I dropped the tape on the floor. I gotta retrieve it and do the little bit around that fitting yet. I'm not gonna bother to film that because it's really not that exciting. Okay, so there's the press tape all over the number 10 fitting. I got it done. I will say this about that whole process. Because I had the body off, I didn't follow the instructions exactly, and I figured, well, it's going to be easier to reach that number 6 line underneath if I put it on first and then put the number 10 on, which made sense to me at the time, even though the instructions say locate the number 10 compressor AC hose, lubricate 2 O-rings. I only did one because I only connected one side. Connect the 45-degree female fitting with the 134A service port to the number 10 suction port on the compressor. Then route the straight fitting to the number 10 evaporator hardline coming through the firewall. That's the one I just put, and it says tighten each fitting connection as shown in figure 18 below. Note, wrap the number 10 fitting connections at the firewall with press tape. See figure 19, page 20. which tells you put press tape right there. Well, getting that press tape on without the number 6 line on actually, I believe, would have been easier, because step number 3 is put the number 6 line on. Like I said, I did them backwards, and it was a little harder to get the press tape on, even though I was able to do it, and I feel like I got it on good all the way around. But if you're doing this, you might want to consider doing the number 10 line, put the press tape on, then put the number 6 line on, and I think you'll have an easier time a little bit overall. Mainly 2 things, mainly tightening the number 10 without having the number 6 fitting in the way, and secondly, putting the press tape on, because you can reach the bottom of it without that other line on there. So lesson learned.